Hi everyone. This demo is going to be using the brand new rice papers from Pink Ink Designs. So we've got sort of a Christmassy theme going on here, and I'm going to be using the Let It Snow one, which is using it's a Perfect Partner with a Proud Peacock, which is the stamp that came out a little while ago. But it's got that great big peacock centerpiece on it. These rice papers are really lovely. If I just one's here, so you get 2 of each in there. That one, and then got that one there, and a nice pretty background one there. And the one, you can see these are the feathers that are in the peacock set. This I've seen that this is very similar, which if I was doing another page I might use it, to the hinge and bracket accessory set. I don't know if you can tell that that's very similar there. I guess it's sort of an extension, which obviously you could stamp out and then use an embossing pen to draw out the rest of it to carry on if you wanted to carry on that design. That's probably quite easy to do. But the one that I'm going to be using is that page there. And what I've been working on has been like a little scrapbook or art journal that I've been playing with. So I've been using all the rice papers from all the sets. So I've sort of done it. I just created this with a 3 sheets of 250 GSM card. That was all it was, and then I've folded them into one, so it's all in there, and then I'll get a bigger piece and seal it together in the end. But I just had a play. I just thought I'd show you what I've actually been playing with. So this is obviously one of the rice papers from the Unicorn set, which is called Free to Dream. So again, it's just, you can see that's the background, the rice paper is actually up to there, and then I've just used gesso to give me a good platform for stamping on. And I've stamped it in the VersaCraft ink pad, so I used the Cerulean Blue first, spritzed it, let it spread, and then heat set it, and then went in again with the ultramarine. And then I've just highlighted with a white pen and used gesso around the outside, and then also used the Picket Fence Distress Crayon as well, just to add the extra, and then stamped and embossed the words out there. And I've just used a couple of little stickers from a set I had, with some words on it, and that was it. And stamped out the feathers, cut them out, and I think it really, the white on there really makes it stand out quite a bit. I've gone away from my traditional black. I thought I'd go for white as it's Christmassy. This page is using the Winter Wonderland, so it was just the full background sheet, and then I've gone in with the white VersaCraft ink and done the little accents with that. Stamped and embossed the hair and then heat embossed it, and then gone around the edge with VersaCraft around the outside, and used again Distress Crayon and gesso to go around the outer bit. And I've also used a white pencil as well, some of the finer lines there. Again, I think it makes it really pop. The other thing I've been using on this, you can see these white splashes here. So what I've done is I've got myself, we get these little jam jars everywhere, don't we, when you go out for a cream tea, and I've put inside, I've used the pink ink white paint and then water, pretty much 50-50, and then obviously just give it a good shake, and you've got the perfect consistency for creating your white splats. And it also means that isn't going to dry, and you're not going to have to keep recreating it each time. So I've done that, put it in a little jam jar, and then I can give it a quick shake before I use it, and then just splash it on with a paintbrush. This is obviously the page we're going to do in a minute. And then this one again is the Winter Wonderland. So there's one sheet that has You can see this is where my seam is. So I've used 2 sheets from that set, and then accented it with white pencil just to bring out the white lines more, and then stamped and heat embossed these with white embossing powder. Again, white flicks, and then a bit of Distress Crown around the outside. And then my last page in here is from the Freedom to Dream, the unicorn one. This again was 1 sheet, but I actually separated the 2 images from the 1 sheet, and sort of torn around the edge, and then used clear gesso over the top so that I could put accent over the top of it. And these bubbles here, all they are is I've got a masking tape and I've drawn around the inside with a white pencil, and then used the Distress Crayon just to accent that there. Obviously you could use the white paint if you wanted to. I just found by using my finger it was a bit simpler. And then I've used the white pencil to highlight again there, and then some of the pink ink sparkle to just give it a sparkle. And I'm really pleased. Okay, so I've got my rice paper now, and then I'm just using a paintbrush with some water, that's all it is, on the back of the sheet to tear the edge. The front of the sheet is quite shiny, so I found it was easier to do it on the back. And then I've used matte Mod Podge to stick the page down with. I did this over the whole side of the page, and then added all the scrap bits of rice paper that I had left over from the other pages to fill it in. And as you can see, that's all the bits there. So I had some words left and part of the frame and things like that, and some from the little hair in the corner there. I thought it was quite pretty. And then I've literally just covered the whole thing with clear gesso. The reason I've done this is it just means that any other mediums you put on the top will take really well. If you were to put watercolours straight onto rice paper, it will just soak straight in, and then you'll lose the depth of the colour. So I found that by using clear gesso it really helped use that. It also makes it an easier for stamping onto as well. Again, the same thing, the ink would sink in and you'd lose the impression. So I've just heat set that, and then taken my scissors and just trim around the edge. Any bits that haven't quite stuck down, I've just got a little bit of, I actually use PVA to fix it, but you could use carry on using your Mod Podge to fill it in. It was just I'd put the Mod Podge back, so I just got my little bit of PVA out and just basically got a bit of card and stuck it down the edge, and then pressed the 2 bits together and it just fixed it, so that was fine. And then I stuck in a couple of bits of scrap paper just so that any stamping I did wouldn't go onto the pages underneath, and got the feather stamp from the Proud Peacock stamp set, and I've used white Versacraft ink and white embossing powder. Now I would recommend using an anti-static pad on this if you didn't want the powder to go absolutely everywhere, but as I was keeping the stamps mainly to the edge, it was quite easy to keep control so it wasn't going everywhere. But I did like the effect of having the powder extend from the stamp anyway, so I wasn't too bothered about it. And even when I used the anti-static pad, it did sort of, maybe I didn't flick it enough, you never know, but it's going to get stuck there sometimes. But I quite like the effect, so I wasn't too fussed. So as I said, I just kept it round the edges, and then I think it just added to keep that this was the peacock page rather than everything else, although I've used a mix of the others. It just helped it link it all together. And then I've got my trusty white splashes, so my little paint pot that I explained about earlier, which as you can see is perfect consistency after just giving it a shake. It's basically got to have the look of milk. That's what you're aiming for, so you can't see through it, and it's just got enough water in it just to, I mean, you could obviously test it sort of thing, but I don't know how many times I fill up a little paint palette with white and water and waste half the paint because I haven't used the whole thing. so I thought that this was quite a good way of keeping it. And then I've heat set that just to make sure that it's not going to smudge. And then I've got the Picket Fence Distress Crayon, which is basically a white crayon. There are other ones available that you can get that are very similar, or you could use white gesso, and I'm just going around the edges and using my finger to rub it in. And I'm also going around the edges of the bits of rice paper that I added in, so it gives sort of a bit of a random texture. Although it's pointing out where my seam lines are, that's what I wanted to achieve, so I was quite happy with that. And then I've taken a white pencil and a gel pen and highlighted even more the white parts of the rice paper, so the drawn images on the rice paper. There's such lovely feathers and they're almost hidden underneath everything else, and I wanted them to stand back out again, so it's almost as if I'd stamped them on there. I wanted it to really pop out from the background, because that was going to be my main feature. I didn't want the background to take over. So once I've added all that, then I've gone in with the white pencil again and just drawn some extra lines just to sort of extend the other spaces, and then also taken the white gel pen to draw in some stars, because I wanted it to look more of a starry night than just a normal background. And it also helps all the different papers link together, because obviously they're from different sets and I wanted them all to link together. Although the colours coordinate, I wanted it all to look as one. And then I've also used the white gel pen to go over the words as well for the Winter Wonderland, as I did want that to stand out more, and it seemed to have faded with all the cover bits that I'd put over the top of it. But once I'd coloured that back in, it made it pop again, so I was quite happy with that. And then the next thing I did was take some of the pink ink Sparkle Star Sparkle and paintbrush, and then gone over like the feathers and things, and done a few random bits on the background just to make it stand out a bit more. And would you believe, after adding all those white bits, I then decided that actually I wanted to add some more pink in there. I thought it was just too much blue and white. So I got the hot pink paint from the pink ink paint set, and just put a little bit of water wash around the edges of the peacocks. And as you can see, it added a little bit of shadow. I didn't even realise it was going to do that, to be honest. I was just adding more to make the colour pop, but it did add a lot more shadow than I had initially thought it was going to, and I really like it in the end, so quite pleased with that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this demo. Thanks for watching.